fucking icebox.
There is no spoon.
What's wrong?
Seriously, you auto-updating now?
General, I won't be able to calculate the right data for the satellite for 49 minutes.
How long till impact?
11 minutes and 44 seconds.
Fuck Microsoft!
He, specifically asked for you, sweetheart.
By our powers combined, we give you the Galactic Family Podcast.
Hello, my name is Nick Pope, formerly from the British UFO Desk, and you're listening to the Galactic Family Podcast.
Yo, fuck nuts! It's probing time.
And that is what time it is. So, we've got a great one for you today on the Galactic Family Podcast. In this episode, me and my co-host George are joined by Paul Ruez. Paul Ruez is an educator, veteran, a systems-level thinker whose work bridges science, education, workforce development, and human resilience. Drawing on years of experience in education and applied learning, Paul brings a grounded, real-world perspective to the topic of exobiology and the possibility of a living universe. Together, we explore how life may emerge beyond Earth, why biology may be more common across the cosmos than once believed, and how discovery reshapes both science and human worldview. This focused conversation moves beyond speculation, examining what a biologically active universe could mean for humanity, education, and our future in space. And the overwhelming question, are we truly alone in this universe? Let us bring him up to the stage. How you doing, Paul?
Well, good morning and happy Valentine's Day to everybody.
Yes.
Hyvä ystävänpäivä. In Finland, they call it Friendship Day. So happy Friendship Day.
All right. And compassion and empathy are positive qualities, despite what some people are promoting today.
100%.
Very true. So let's jump right into it. I wanted to show one video in the beginning. Arthur C. Clarke on the BBC show talking about what he believes the future to be. Okay?
Arthur C. Clarke invented the satellite communication system. I think it was his design that would first went up, actually. So,
yeah, this was Arthur C. Clarke. It was BBC's Horizon in 1964. He gave astonishing predictions about the future. Let's go over that real quick.
The only thing we can be sure of about the future is that it will be absolutely fantastic. So, if what I say now seems to you to be very reasonable, then I'll have failed completely. Only if what I tell you appears absolutely unbelievable have we any chance of visualizing the future as it really will happen. Let's start by looking at the city of the future. Some people think that it will be like this. But what about the city of the day after tomorrow? Say the year 2000. I think it will be completely different. In fact, it may not even exist at all. Oh, I'm not thinking of the atom bomb and the next Stone Age. I'm thinking of the incredible breakthrough which has been made possible by developments in communications, particularly the transistor.
And we'll go over that a little bit. Like, he was talking about the future back in, the 70s, but he was talking, or the 60s, sorry, 64, and he was talking about it might not even look like this at all in 2000, but it does. It looks exactly like that.
Yeah, I think any sufficiently advanced technology would appear as magic is one of his quotes, Arthur C. Clarke's quote.
Yes.
And when he said there, if I explain to you and it sounds reasonable and believable, I haven't done my job. It should be
Right.
fantastic and beyond anything you can comprehend.
So Paul, can you walk us through your background and how you were brought up in this kind of space to where you've got into space science?
For me, I was fortunately raised by people that would take time and show me the stars at night and point out the wondrous beauty. So that was some very essential programming. So people listening that have little kids or even older kids, take time to look at nature, because we are part of nature. Nature is what holds this whole universe together. And we have been taught to look the other way. Fortunately, I was taught to acknowledge it and see it and respect it. And my father was a photographer as an avocation, so he always took time to point out perspectives and views and things like that. So that helped. And when I was in high school, I realized that I was not ready for college and joined the military. And I tried to sign up for photography school. And fortunately, the recruiter was smart enough to realize my interest. And he said, I can't get you into photography school, but I can get you into camera repair, which will get you into photography units. And I said, let's do it. And ended up at a missionless unit at Fort Benning, Georgia, which means that we had no mission. That included my skills. And because I was a supply clerk, I knew people, and I pulled the right buttons, and I got transferred to Vietnam, where I knew that there was a photography unit, and I knew people that were there, and they said, it's much better than Fort Benning, Georgia. And as a photographer in Vietnam, I had my eyes open about the politics and what's behind the war-making machine. And when I got home, I became a veterans counselor and also became very active in the movement to get the VA to acknowledge post-Vietnam syndrome, which became PTSD. In 1973, I heard a radio show, people talking about that the components of life are being found in the universe, and that people have come here in spaceships, not sci-fi, but real people, not monsters and creatures, but real people that have been trying to help us. And after Vietnam, I thought, thank God. I mean, that made more sense than what I saw in the war. And that opened the door for me. I've been pursuing that ever since. And I found that I'm happy to share my research. If anything that we touch on here rings any bells for the listeners, you can reach me on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to share my contacts and share my resources, and hopefully you take the ball and run with it.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's a short story.
Yeah. So okay. I want to start off. Jason's really good at writing up a whole load of questions in a PDF file to ask questions on you. I tend to go like, yeah, that's cool. I've got them there in case I really get stuck. But the title of the show is about exobiology and beyond. And I thought maybe we can define exobiology a little bit. I don't know if that's something you want to address, Paul. You know, what to you, what is exobiology?
Well, it's a term that the scientists use. I'm an academic scientist. I'm not a space scientist. Fortunately, I can use common sense and read other people's research and connect the dots. But exobiology, to me, is we're talking about the building blocks of life biologically that we're finding out in space. And I remember when the amino acids were found. I mean, that was breaking news back then. And finding indications of photosynthesis on Mars. And this is an excellent book. Daniel Ross. It's out of print, but if you look for it, you'll find it, and it's loaded with data talking about the indications and evidence of data showing that we're part of a planetary family, that we're not alone. So to me, the exobiology is just reaffirming that we're connected biologically throughout the entire universe.
And of course, we've found life in many different environments on our planet, which raises, like on one level even more evidence that the universe is brimming and teeming with life potentially, and the building blocks of life itself. And then I guess kind of like on the flip side, you'd have xenobiology, which would be the study of alien things. But yeah, okay.
And let me jump in,
yeah,
George, with this is that people that haven't thought about this or are coming at this for the first time realize that this is threatening to people that are invested in the status quo. And that could be financially, that could be religiously, just through ideology. If you have based your whole life, your existence on one way of thinking, one way of behaving, and then all of a sudden you're confronted with evidence or indication that there's other people and they're doing it differently, and they're not killing each other to get what they want, that can be threatening. And if you go to Wikipedia and look up Giordano Bruno, he was a Franciscan who was in the late 1500s, very outspoken about his beliefs. He was also a scientist, and he talked about the universality of life, and that's a reflection of the divine plan of God, or however you want to picture that ultimate power. And the Inquisition condemned him for that, and they tried to force him to recant. I mean, Galileo was also in that same boat because they wanted him to recant his scientific statements, and he ended up being put under house arrest. He died under house arrest. Well, Bruno, they killed him. They killed him because he refused to say that this was wrong. He knew that there was life out there.
And
well, there is one thing. Like, a question I always had was, why has the search for life focused so narrowly on Earth-like conditions when we know life can exist in other places than just an Earth-like condition?
Well, I think that those people that have actually found the building blocks that we have on our planet elsewhere, that has helped direct the search. The big speed bump that I have seen is recognizing and really investigating, using the rules of evidence with regard to what I consider the real contact stories. And so that part they keep behind closed doors, because if all of a sudden they start looking at that as closely as they're looking at Roswell, which is real interesting, all this attention, detailed attention to Roswell, but yet you take a case like the Adamski case, and boy, he's a crackpot. We'll throw him in the garbage bin, and yet the bell-shaped crafts continue to be seen. The bell-shaped crafts that don't exist.
And I have a video I can add to the stage here. Colombian pilot actually took this video. Let me get the name of it here. Colombian pilot. Where is it here? Where? Oh, there it is. Flying at 12,500 feet, captured best UFO image ever, and it's been authenticated.
Yeah, that's very Adamski-esque, that particular shape, isn't it?
Wow. And
Nice.
do you remember Bob Lazar talked about this too, that the craft had to be at an angle, at a certain angle to reach to pull forward. Look at this.
It looks like it's tilted from a traditional landing phase or a hovering phase.
It's like it's moving forward, but it's tilted forward.
And this, Renee Olson did an analysis of the Adamski case using the photographs.
Renee Olson, yeah.
Okay.
George Adamski story, historical events of gigantic implications.
And so he took the Adamski photographs and he shows you exactly what he did in Photoshop. So he's not changing the image. All he's doing is changing how the image appears to bring out the details more.
He's inverting the colors. That's what he's doing. He's making it come out more. He's not changing the image. Yeah,
right.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Is a question for you, Paul. Sorry, I was going to say with the Adamski cases. I mean, like there's like obviously Adamski himself, which you're aware of, but why was he was he that much of a threat to the status quo? Much like the Bruno character, he was dismissed and belittled and ridiculed and pressed. This is for our listeners and viewers who are maybe not aware of George Adamski. What's the time frame of his work, or not his work, his observations?
Well, November 20th, 1952, and this is written up in the Phoenix Gazette. He and 5 witnesses were out near Desert Center, California, and a ship came down, and that's what.
Just my understanding of the
That's
which looks much like it's very similar to the video that Jay's just played for us from Colombia. What did you say, 12,500 feet?
Yeah, 12,500 feet.
Looks like obviously a prop aeroplane. At first, the video I saw the kind of looking through the glass, and I saw the little kind of like reflections coming off it. I thought, okay, but when that object appears and it's one smooth movement, and like you say, it's tilted. It's not, a lot of these hoaxing videos, they seem to be not at an angle, and yeah, so.
But the threat that Adamski presented is that he didn't shut up. He was demeaned. He was debunked. He was ridiculed, and yet thousands of people would show up to his lectures. And his books sold thousands of copies, which, by the way, he did not die a rich man. A year ago, I went down to the Superior Court in San Diego and got a copy of his probate papers, which I'm happy to share with anybody. But he was not wealthy. That was not his concern. But the concern, I think, that the authorities had was the information that he was sharing, that the space contacts gave him, was threatening, because they were willing to help, and they were coming here because of the concern of what we're doing with the nuclear testing. And so people hear about them going over the nuclear facilities, and some people try to spin that as fear. They're not coming to attack us, at least this group. It's just that they're making their presence known, they're making their ability known, and they see us playing with firecrackers. And one of the things that they said is that, if you guys want to have a third world war, we're not going to stop you. But if you're going to do something that's going to disrupt the balance of the solar system, now we're concerned.
Yeah.
I've got a good one to pop up on the screen for this. The Hopi prophecy. That was in a letter to the UN secretary in this was the leader, the traditional leader, Thomas, and I can't say his last name. I won't butcher it, but it was 1992, December 10th. He actually went to the UN himself and read this. So. And yes, it will be in English after this. He translates it actually himself. It's pretty funny.
I guess I'll have to interpret this message myself.
Because nobody can speak his language.
I mentioned that my spiritual leaders long time ago know that someday people from foreign countries will come upon our land and put up what he called rupiki. That means house of glass, to bring about peace and justice and harmony. All people are concerned. The world is really in trouble right now. We are headed for the most destructive thing if we do not correct, change, and turn around and make life beautiful, clean, and lasting for the Great Spirit. Because sooner or later, purification will take place, and there's no way out of it. They should be every chair filled by United Nations people here. They should listen first time to Native people upon whose land this is. They should be here. Thank you. I thank Mr. Thomas Banyaka. I'm confident that your words and wisdom have been duly noted.
Powerful.
It's a very powerful statement that he gave, that if we don't turn around, it's going to cause something to happen that we're not going to be able to get out of.
And other civilizations have come and gone, and we've got the ability to do greater damage. If there are scientists out there, or just people out there that are interested in the effects of the nuclear testing on the planet, a Dr. Kato from Japan published a report that a friend of mine translated. And then there was also a doctor up in New Brunswick who did his research also, where both of these scientists correlated the impact on the Earth of specific tests against earthquakes. And it's real. And there was one news story that came out of British media that talked about a weapon, an earthquake weapon that the Russians were working with. It played once, and it was never played again. And I have a copy of that transcript.
Right. That's interesting.
So those are three instances. And then what I have not seen, and if any listeners out there have this information, the bombs that were used, they call them bunker busters, against Iran, what was it, last year? Mm-hmm. Those penetrated the Earth deeply and had great explosive power. And I'm just wondering what effect those had relative to the earthquakes that followed. So if the three of us are sitting on our mothership and we're looking down at these earthlings that we're concerned about and we'd love to help, and we see them playing with these fireworks, what are we going to do?
Maybe not direct intervention, but maybe a show of strength, or a show of solidarity in some way.
And they did this when they flew over the Capitol, back in the Admiral Helmholtz days, and they're doing it again now. And what I think we need to be careful of, especially if the president is going to come out and make a statement, is the criteria. Listen carefully. Is it fear-based or is it hope-based? If it's fear-based, they're going to twist that to buy more high-end reverse technology death machines.
It just seems totally counterintuitive. If you've potentially got a spacefaring civilization or a spacefaring species which potentially could travel interstellar distances, or intergalactic distances rather, then that technology would be, it'll be like here's our latest Gauss rifle rail gun or some crazy thing like that, and it's like to these visitors it would be like, what are you doing? It's not going to harm anybody but yourself. But it's while we're in this, like one of the things I'm looking at with the inception of this artificial intelligence program is that people are really worrying about jobs and money. So there's a discourse about jobs and money. And, you know, if we can get past the greed-based money motivation aspect, if we can get past the motivation, what is your motivation? Oh, I just make a ton of cash and can live my lifestyle. You know, if we can get past that, or we can get into what you do something because you want to help or alleviate a situation. You know, I think if we can get past that as a species, then potentially we can, like you say, get out of this fear paradox, this fear paradigm, move into one of like exploration, which I think you know, from all the way back at 1900s, it's about exploration and spirit of adventure on our planet and outside of it as well. So,
Very true. I mean, the excitement of discovery, where people are helping each other, it's contagious. It's just contagious. And the flip side of that is, for certain people of a certain mindset, hurting people is also contagious. And so we really have the dark forces and the light forces that are at play here. And talking about being able to economically benefit from the positive exploration and discovery. This.
Okay.
Dr. O'Neill proposed the space colonies. He worked with NASA, and they actually have this on the drawing board, but it was stopped. But it's still, the plans are still there, where they would put these into our planetary orbit, not sending out to Mars. I mean, this is much more doable, much more affordable, and people would live there. They'd grow crops there. They would put factories there, and it would be positive.
That's a perfect way to go into this next video. Actually, you brought it up, was bases. Okay, now Carl Wolf testified that he went into a room in NASA as an Air Force, or as a personnel with a photographic team, and they were scrubbing images of domes that were on the other side of the moon. So let's get Carl Wolf up.
As I walked in, there were people from other countries, a lot of foreign people from other countries in civilian clothes, with interpreters with them, with security badges hanging around their neck. And the first thing I thought to myself, if this is NASA, what are all these foreigners doing here? What are all these people from other countries speaking other language? Didn't make any sense to me. And I was really quite impressed with that. It just didn't grok. You know, I was, you know, what are all of these people doing here? And they were very quiet, very reserved, and there was a very peculiar pall hanging over them. They had a very concerned demeanor. Okay, so they took me into this laboratory.
Well, apparently it doesn't want me to show it all. Yeah, well, they took him into a laboratory. Let's get it off the screen here. And he was witnessing people that were scrubbing images of domes on the other side of the moon. Yeah, he told them, he's like, well, what are we doing with these? And he's like, we're editing out the color variations. And I said, and he said something like, you know, you're editing out color from a original. Why would you edit? You know, there's no reason to do it. Just put them out. But there is, if you have something to hide.
And this is a really good book.
Fred Steckling.
And I got involved with this on the reprint because I also, part of my academic background is printing and publishing. And I've collaborated and helped a lot of different people along the way. The Stecklings are just one group of people. But you can look at above the crater here. And Fred told me that he ordered, this was back in, let's see, the date.
I got a good one for you.
The original date was 81.
1981, yeah.
And he said that he ordered his negatives directly from NASA. And he said that he was touring NASA with one of the people that was helping him. Because there's people on the inside that want this to get out.
Yeah.
And he said they're walking down a hall, and they walked past a door that said retouching. And he asked his NASA host, he said, "Now, what are they doing there?" No comment.
I think the whole airbrushing escapades of NASA are well documented. I think that like you say, again, going all the way back to your comments about the 15th century priest who claimed life outside of the earth and was persecuted by the church for having that belief, much like Galileo. Then 500 years later, we're now getting reports that this is being taken a lot more seriously by certain elements of the Christian faith.
This is actually the original photo, and everybody's saying it's a fake. It's not, because you can see the actual, you can see the crosshairs in it. There's 3 crosshairs on top, 3, there's actually a couple. But the crosshairs are the reason why you can tell this is an original photo, because when NASA had the video surveillance up there, they had what was called these stabilization crosshairs, okay? So the only way that I could tell this is an original photo, right, is I can look at this and you could still see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. There's 15 crosshairs on this picture right now, and they're stabilization crosshairs so that they can stabilize the photo as they're like on the moon. That's why you could tell it's an original photo. But this is Apollo 14, Edgar Mitchell. He saw what he described was, he said he saw flares of light. Hey, I believe they could be a bunch of things, but he said he saw flares of light in the background. So, we have people, we still, hey, Nanny loves them. We love you here too. You don't believe we went to the moon? I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence on that. I really am. And only because of the fact, okay, and I'll tell you why, okay, my true belief, I'm on the fence on it, Nanny, because my thing is, if we went to the moon, why would you get rid of all that technology if the technology's gone?
Dave, can I come in this? I'm very, very big on mythology, and contextually in Europe you have a certain element of like fairies, sprites, pixies, and trolls. So I wouldn't worry too much whether you think something's real or not. I'd look in the mirror and question whether you yourself actually exist, and if you don't, just remove yourself.
Oh boy.
I'd like to jump in on that too.
Yeah.
How many people that don't believe we went to the moon watched the launch in 69? I did. I was at Fort Benning, Georgia, and we our whole barracks was around a little TV watching it. And the people that were there at the launch site saw it. Mm-hmm. So were those millions and millions of dollars and tens of thousands of people all working on something that didn't happen?
the only thing that I will say from this, okay, is I might have a clip to go with this, but it's kind of, I mean, Buzz Aldrin is kind of on the older side, but he did kind of admit on camera that we never went. But that he's in the older side. So Nanny, well, this is for you, Nanny.
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
That's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen, it's nice to know why it didn't happen. So in the future, if we want to keep doing something, we need to know why something stopped in the past that we wanted to keep it going. But I think I know. Because we didn't.
And that is the only clip I'll play for Nanny. But that one of the clips I have that of Buzz Aldrin saying that. But like I said, you know, we need to get the fabrications out of the way and start focusing on real science and getting stuff out there that people can see with their own eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think kind of narrative and consensual reality. Like, if you take up a counter position to consensual reality, that is your prerogative to do that. Just don't be expected to be invited to the big parties when things happen.
The tea party.
Yeah.
And I
think, don't start.
You're welcome, Danny. You're welcome.
I think also we have something called the rules of evidence in our legal system. Now, certain people think they're above those, and they can rewrite those any way that they want. But I believe that our legal system is still strong enough that we'll survive that, and that we can use those same rules of evidence in talking about whether it's abductions, whether it's cattle mutilations, whether it's where we went and why. And that courtroom scenario really needs to be played out under the spotlight of full disclosure. Like I said earlier, let's put the Adamski case under the same light that we're putting Roswell. And I think our rules of evidence and that whole procedure is going to give us a lot of information.
I think the problem here, Paul, is where people have their own paradigm of belief systems in goggles that they wear, and you can take the horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right? So you take the horse to water, and then the horse doesn't even believe there is a trough of water there. It doesn't accept it, even though everyone around him is going, yeah, there's a trough of water, you can have a drink. So there are going to be individuals that literally, should maybe recover back underneath a bridge and go back to being in their own particular goggled universe, which is fine. It doesn't bother me. I mean, what I think our show is more about listening to all people's understandings and presenting evidence as opposed to presenting a fable.
And whenever you want me to share your videos at the bottom, just let me know.
Okay. And George, I really respect that, and Jay as well, with how you guys have structured your educational program. And I say that educational program with due respect, because it takes some serious architecture and thought to do what you're doing. Those of us that have been in the classroom know that, and this is a classroom.
Yeah.
This was.
What are we looking at here? Telescopic, so Earth-based telescopic UFO photograph by George Adamski of the same type we had seen over Washington, D.C. during the Yeah, and then a sighting in Washington Daily News. Is that the one with the forgive me, the is it Congress, the dome-shaped building with, or is it the Senate
This
building?
was
And then there's that beautiful photograph with like 5
no.
lines.
This was actually this is what got the Stecklings interested, because they were in Washington D.C. and they were with about 30 other people on the street corner, including the writer for the Washington Daily News. And then when the article came out, it said that the object was 12,000 feet high, and it wasn't. It was like 1,200 feet high, above ground level. And Fred Steckling, when he saw this article, he went and found the writer, and the writer said, "We were forced to make that statement for national security reasons."
I'm thinking of a popular television program, Star Trek: The Next Generation, with the Captain Jean-Luc Picard, who says, "National security, the age-old cry of the oppressor." So in that vein, everything could be like my flat is national security. I'm sorry, I can't have any guests. Like it becomes arbitrary where everything can come under the umbrella of national security. And I think what's the name of the gentleman who's recently become a whistleblower? Nuticelli, is it?
I think it's Nuticelli.
It's Nuticelli, yeah, but of his first name. But he basically said that there seems to be a program to keep reality classified, right? It's just like you take that concept to the nth.
True. This is the book that I'm pulling that out of.
UFO reality, can truth prevail?
And unfortunately, we just lost Captain Steckling. He had health issues, but I had the opportunity to work with his parents, and then when they both passed away, with him, and got to be his proofreader and helped out with their website, and that's all in the past now. But I definitely feel that he did a really good job, not just because I was a proofreader, but he did a really good job on digging into the archives and presenting it in a real linear fashion in here. And
could you like the subtext? I like this activism within the UFO extraterrestrial field. So I guess in a sense, ourselves here who have an understanding are activists in a certain way. And I don't mean that in a derogatory phrase. Like certainly in the United Kingdom, the word protest and activism has become synonymous. The narrative has kind of pushed it towards more of a negative implication. But if you're pushing back against this national security umbrella, and you're using a bad word like an activist or a protester or something like this, then it just shows that you're having an effect, even if your argument is logical, sound, and peaceful, more importantly.
Very true. I have a paper that I'm releasing real soon. It's being reviewed by some of my mentors, dealing with the current events that are taking place in the UFO community. But I've just found that there's just so much information out there that we just need to keep talking about it. And I make reference in the paper about people protesting and testifying, and I still, because I testified against Richard Nixon with other veterans regarding the war in Vietnam, that he could have stopped a year earlier and saved 22,000 lives. But no, he had to use that to get reelected. He said, I have a plan, which we've heard before. But I still get accused of being a communist and other things, because I believe that we can settle our differences differently without hurting each other.
100%. Yeah, I'm behind you on that one. And if that makes me a communist, so be it.
Yeah. This is for people that are just getting started, or if you want a good review. Desmond Leslie was Winston Churchill's nephew, and it's
interesting.
Sir Desmond Leslie. He wrote the first part of this, and people don't talk about this in the UFO community. But what Desmond did is he went and did a review, a historical review, going back to even ancient Indian writings of the Vimanas and those visitors, and some of those weren't all that nice, but some of them were. But it's history, and that's in here. And he, through his publisher, met George Adamski, and they got together and combined their two books. And this is a real fundamental one to start with.
So Paul, if I can ask you, with your study so far in this field, I think you said 1973 you became inspired to really tuck into this. So that's a fair wodge of time that you've invested in this. Are you these are definitely physical, 100% tangible, or is this more interdimensional, or is this more etheric, spiritual? What's your kind of feelings on? I know it's a difficult question, but
well, I've heard a lot of different takes from different people, and I think that the people that want to derail this whole discussion have exploited that to divide and conquer. So moving past that, and we can actually let's go ahead and show the middle video here, the one in the blue.
Yeah, where it says, "Does the chariot, Jay?" There we go.
Yeah. Now, can I stop this?
Pause?
Yeah, we can pause at any time.
Okay. So, as we know, we've seen the stories of the natives, and then the higher tech people land. They've never seen it before, and then the propellers start disappearing, and then the chariot of the gods disappears, and then they make a religion over it. So go ahead.
It's contextual what they know.
Well, I mean, there's an argument for cargo cult behavior as well, copying the gods, or.
And let's stop on this one.
Yep.
Yeah. I like this
because somebody maybe saw a very small, maybe one of the Foo Fighters, they called them back in World War II, appear and then disappear, and then they interpret that as some kind of religious experience, and then they see a larger object, and then they see people get off the object, and then they see robotic, what we would call bio-robots get off, that maybe have 3 fingers, that maybe have big heads, and now we have all kinds of different interpretations. And that's why I put this together, because that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing many different interpretations. And here's a good question for maybe or you can ask people that know more than I know. But when did non-human intelligence first become an accepted term? Because that wasn't a term used back in the Admiral Helen Cotter days.
That's a great question. That's a great question, and I think in my lifetime, growing up with UFO and extraterrestrial, and or alien being more of a generic terminology, and then suddenly we have this UAP, unidentified anomalous phenomena. I mean, just the what's the word? Nomenclature, or the syntax is more vague than specified. So it feels like we're moving from the official narrative, from officialdom, which is interjecting into now we have so-called drones.
Yeah.
So now, one of our viewers has said that so-called drones is the new swamp gas. But I think you're 100% right here, Paul. The language itself has been hijacked, and I wonder, I hope that we can get a unified theory of UFO, right? A unified theory of understanding where we can all accept it. But maybe that part of the crux of the matter could be that the language fails us at some point with things that are so advanced. It's much like if you went back 600 years and demonstrated a microwave to heat food, it's a microwave, you understand what it's doing, but the people around you are going to be looking at you like you're working for some dark force or something,
Yeah.
The language doesn't exist, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. And I don't know who came up with UAP, but when you look up the definition of phenomena, that removes
broad
the word object from something quantifiable to
I'm with you.
We don't know.
It makes it more vague.
Yeah.
And interesting, when I first got involved with the testimony business of 23, I had not seen anybody that was pleading with the people to look at the history. And that's what I wrote up in my first testimony that I sent out to the congressional people. And I do know that some of them got it because they responded. And then as I would see people make their comments on LinkedIn, I would just say, I wouldn't challenge them. I would just say, you may know people that share this interest in our collaboration, and then I'd give a link to the testimony, which was just factual. And I sent that out to hundreds of people, and no one challenged me. A lot of thank yous, but there was never somebody that came back and said, hey, you're full of it. And even what I'm sending out now, which you see on the screen, I'm not getting challenges. So it's like I'm getting the sense that at least some of the people are open to a different perspective of this interpretation.
Yeah.
I mean, I tend not to use the term UAP. I like the term USO, unidentified submersible object, and like you say, it's an object. It's potentially physical, right? But phenomena is like I want to quote one of our viewers, random content. Phenomena is like a stew. It's made of different things. Whereas, there we go. Thanks for that comment, random content.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think
I think it should be UP, unknown phenomena.
Jay, and Paul, who was the gentleman in the aeroplane who first coined where the newspaper? You said it was like a batarang skipping across.
Oh.
Not Arnold. Was it Arnold? No.
Yeah, wasn't it Arnold?
He was one of them, but he wasn't the first.
Right.
No, but he it came from it like it was skipping across the water as a saucer skipping across water.
And then the print media picked up on flying saucer. So for that generation who read those articles, it was flying saucer. I refer Paul's question about who injected UAP and NHI into the discussion. Well, who injected UFO into the discussion after flying saucer? I mean, maybe we should be calling these
Heineck.
Right. Yeah. But it's like, well, it's coming top down for the masses, the terminology, and we're not we then have to dissect that terminology within the framework of what's set up at the time to debunk or acknowledge the thing. And then
Skywatch is saying Edward J. Ruppelt, he coined the term UFO.
Right, yeah. So maybe we should have a look at Mr. Ruppelt a little bit, unidentifying flying objects.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Actually, Paul, one of our viewers, D Nitz, has said that would it be possible for you to email us a reading list? Not necessarily with the some of these books that you've really.
Yeah, I have that. Do you have a library or someplace that you?
Discord channel.
We have if after the show I'll email you directly, and then then if I can get a list, and then I can disseminate that list to viewers who want it.
Yeah, excellent. And I had mentioned last time that I am putting together an index for this, because one of the things about these books is they're loaded with data, evidence, but you go and you try to look something up. That's the last page.
That's dense, yeah.
Where Tim Good, he did. This is one of his, and his work has been out long enough that you can pick his books up very reasonably priced in the used market. But he did an excellent job of indexing.
Right. Wow. Yeah. I can see Vandenberg there at the top, and von Neumann, John von Neumann there. Yeah.
So, and I'll do a little sidebar here, because you had played the clip of the gentleman addressing the UN.
Yeah.
There was a doctor from Guadalajara who I met when I did some work down there, and he was a medical doctor, and he had met an ET that came into his office and had requested a physical. And he said the only thing unusual about this man is he had no body hair. He was short. And he said, Dr. Diaz, Leopoldo Diaz, he said that the man told him that, I want you to verify that I am perfectly human and tell the story. And that's how I met him, because I was doing some things with UFOs down there. And Dr. Diaz started lecturing, and he met a man by the name of Robert Mueller, who was a deputy of something at the UN, who believed him. And then this is written up in one of Tim's books. And Mueller went and found 11 of people that he trusted, that he thought would be receptive to this.
Mm-hmm.
He could get nobody to get on board with taking Diaz's message to the body at the UN. So,
what you got to do? What you got to do to get the get through those gatekeepers, right?
And I mean that's the value of this discussion. I mean, the
Hopi was able to get up there to the UN. You know, they were able to get their prophecy in there, but
sorry.
What else? What else is there other than that? And then getting into it, you know, we can also get into this too. Is you know, I keep hearing that Trump is going to come out with disclosure. I keep hearing it. It's all over the internet. Mark Christopher is talking about it. Laura Trump is talking about it now on her podcast. And I've got a clip I want to show on that real quick.
So we always have a great time.
Soon.
Next question.
Yeah.
What do you or the president know about UFOs? Can you share? I hear that the president has something in the queue to share with us about all of this. Now, truth be told, I'm trying to remember how long ago it was. It may have been right after he left office.
He has something coming out about UFO disclosure. And I don't know whether is it a distraction, or is it this is the truth that's going to be coming out, this is what I need you to see, everyone in the world, or is it a distraction away from something else?
It does feel a little bit like the Wizard of Oz behind the screen, and then another screen, and then, you know, please look over here while we're doing that, and so you don't pay attention to this because this, you know, and you know, most of us and our viewers here, we, you know, like probably have a bad addiction to reading the news in some form, or you know, like see the slogans, headlines, and so on. And not to distract from the seriousness of any of that at all. Mm-hmm. Iran, certain files, I don't want, you know, and so on and so forth. It's just like, well, in the midst of all that hubbub, you have like a disclosure president coming forwards, and you have to ask politically, what would he get out of this? Except for some, you know, is he after a statue? Is he after a footnote in the annals of history? You know, in the year 2500, can everyone in the class name the disclosure president? You know, what's this lot? If Trump does a disclosure speech because it benefits the elites and distracts from the Epstein stuff. Yeah, I think our community has to stay doggedly focused on the evidence of UAP, UFO, and HI aliens. That's our domain. We need to stay within that.
And if I can jump in there, George, and I think the points are really well made. And we need to realize how the intelligence community packages the data that they work with.
Okay.
The Air Force vets out there are familiar with it's in the can.
Mm-hmm.
Which can? If I have a classification for can A, I don't even know about B, C, D, and the rest of them.
You only know that there's an A.
And so what any president is being given is just a fragment. And as George mentioned, what is the advantage? And I would use the criteria of, does it give hope or does it give fear?
Yeah, and that comes back to that threat narrative agenda of we're the ones with the fear. These things seem to not have any fear and not display any fear reactions either. And I think, or to a point, obviously, like you were saying earlier in the historical text, there are different entities with different interests, put it that way. But I think working with fragmentary evidence and piecing back together is there's many people who have moved that trail forwards and widened the path for other people to come into to help with putting the puzzle together, so to speak, if it is indeed any kind of puzzle.
Some fragments are better than none.
Yeah.
And since George, you're over in Europe, one of the hopes that I have is that people outside the United States can get together and do things with the information that maybe those of us in the States can't get as much traction with.
I think speaking for my own, speaking for my own nation state of the United Kingdom, it's almost as if what our younger cousins across the pond in America, what you do influences us. And I think it would almost take a presidential disclosure speech for it to impact into the UK. I'm not sure about France, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, Denmark, Spain, Portugal, Italy. I think it's like a knock-on effect. When one major power says something, the smaller powers have to reply and respond. So what could be a more interesting kind of angle here is if President Trump comes out and does a disclosure, it could be fragmentary evidence, it could be full on, they're here, we're not alone, meet Mark II, and then seeing the reaction as that news spreads, and then what the general populace of the UK goes to speak to their ministers for Parliament and says, I want you to take a question into Parliament. A slightly different legislative procedure, although we have similar classifications to the US, the legal aspect, the lawfare aspect is the one that is, I think the ones, lawfare is the thing that people are worried about. The guys with the briefcases and ties and really expensive,
And I'm going to get around this StreamYard thing right now. So, anyway, so this is now the trailer for the new upcoming Steven Spielberg movie. Now, it's coming out the same kind of direction, same time frame as Trump supposedly disclosing. So I thought we'd run through this real quick. It's only a minute long, and it came out during the Super Bowl. They shouldn't ding us on it. You hear that clicking at the end.
The sound was a bit ropey my side, but I mean that Super Bowl, the Super Bowl 1 minute 30, is it? We have 58 seconds worth of.
Yeah, we can even play it without the sound, I think. That I want to talk about here was like the mystical aspects. The people that are, taking over psychically, taking over people's minds, and it's a. What do you think? It's coming out at the same time as. I'll
tell you what I know. I'll tell you what I know. I went and my thoughts on it is I'm in the public sector. I'm sorry. I'm a citizen of my nation. It means I have access to the technology that's available and afforded to me at the time. Obviously, things like consumer electronics shows demonstrate new technology, but all of those technologies cannot be released if they're part of a military or governmental deployment. So, for example, within the public sector versus the private sector, if your military has access to a technology, only when is run out of its usefulness is it then sold into general population hands. So, for example, Elon Musk is working with Neuralink and a brain-computer interface, helping paralyzed and disabled people regain motor function and interaction with computer systems. But that technology wouldn't be allowed if it had already had a military use to it. So it's already run its course within those circles. You just wouldn't be allowed to have that kind of level of capability. So it's interesting to ponder and imagine what research labs have in the private sector. Maybe I'm an old school, does the government have the best technology? I don't know, but I think the thing is, on my surface dwelling level, I can only access certain things. So, for example, Dave Siegel, who's coming onto the show to talk about these earbuds that are a direct brain computer interface. So you'll be able to think typing, think email, and these things will open up. It offers a new vista as non-invasive, and obviously we're going to have them on the show to talk about. But I think, I just don't think we're even aware of what's in the toy box. We're not even aware of what's in the toy box, right? We haven't graduated to those levels of toys yet. Good or bad.
Yeah. And you see, this one like this, with this invention right here, I mean, you wouldn't even have to have surgery, nothing. It's just, you can just run stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I was born in 1976, Paul. You've been working in this field since 73. Just on a civilian level, you've seen technologies arrive out of left field. The home computing, the internet. These kind of technologies. Do you feel there's a lot more in the toy box that we're not aware of, and we have to be it has to, how can I put this? We have to gradually have this release of technology so that we'll
adapt to it
to be able to utilize it in our own ways.
People that have spoken out, that have been working in that area of technology that's classified, have said, I've heard 10 to 20 years is the difference between what is being worked on and when it comes out.
Yeah.
And so, that's all going on. Remember when the triangle type UFOs started being seen over Phoenix? People that I know that know more than I do were saying those are not theirs. Those are our reverse technology experiments. And what Renee Olson found, and I worked with him on some of his publications as well, and the people that he met with, this replaced the bell-shaped ship. And these are illustrations that he made after he returned from a 6-month trip with them. And people that roll their eyes at that, all I can say is read his books. So the cylindrical shape, the bell shape, and this shape is compatible with what they have developed and applied with gravitational propulsion. So then we start seeing these triangular ones that don't meet this at all. And then we start hearing about people having radiation burns from crash sites. And to me, that makes sense that that's our attempts to reverse engineer. When somebody that's been there is coming back with this evidence.
Like the crash landroom incident where UFO was seen leaking something out of it, and these ladies were in their car and they got irradiated.
Yeah. And so I mean, this is an actual picture taken at Mount Palomar out here in Southern California. And this was actually Adamski took this in '59, and this is a ship with the force field, so they can go to invisibility, they can go to visibility, and steps in between. And what Renee was showing here is.
We go, Jay.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So somebody sees the invisibility, they see the visibility, and steps in between, and what do they think? Dimensions. And then all of a sudden they see somebody walk out of that invisible piece, and he's got a picture of that here, and then they interpret that.
Sorry, just for a member of the audience, Paul, did George Adamski believe these were human visitors from another planet or from our own planet, from the future potentially, or what was this technology? Is this hypothetically? You have the alien advanced technologies, and then you have the human advanced technologies. And as we've just kind of agreed on, that the military is maybe 20 years ahead, 20, 35 years, I heard, back in the 90s. So with the rate of acceleration, they could be 50 years ahead now. I don't know, with what they're developing in the labs. So with the Day of Disclosure video, the Disclosure Day video at the Super Bowl, Trump potentially coming out talking about these things, and are we going to start seeing this gravimetric technology in the sky, maybe initially calling them drones until bigger ones turn up? And then is that part of the 21st century human agenda to bring in like a situation where we're all scared and panicked and therefore can fly under one flag, in some kind of draconian new world order? I don't know. What's your thoughts? And also D wanted to know with the earbud technology for controlling drones, computer systems, these kind of things. What do you feel about? How do you feel about these things for us?
I think the earbuds, they were talking about the cranial implant technology that Musk has talked about. I think that fits the biorobotic reverse technology that we on this planet are playing with, experimenting with. And so when people see the grays and the big heads and the three-fingered people, I put that into the biorobotic category. I don't put that into non-human intelligence. I think we need to look at the humans, like Adamski met, like Steckling's met, like Renee Olson met and others, that the humans that are so far advanced that they're able to make this technology and to do it in such a way that it benefits their whole society without hurting each other. And that's the big stumbling block, or I say challenge, that we face on this planet, because we're used to exploiting people.
Yeah. Let's not forget the original root etymology of the word robot comes from Old Czech robota, meaning serf or forced labor. So the word robot, has connotations in itself as well.
Wow, that's powerful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, we'll I won't play the video, but I just want to show this real quick. That the FAA shut down the airport over El Paso for 10 days, and then they lifted it almost immediately afterwards. Now, they say that it was because of the safety of flight issues, but I mean, clearly you can see various lights appearing and disappearing in the screen. And this is over the airport of El Paso.
My immediate question is, how did they know they were going to turn up?
I don't know. That's the thing. Now,
whatever they are.
Now, I will say, however, this is going to show you about now, if you remember, Skywatcher team, right? The guy from Skywatcher who had the whistle, the dog whistle, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's gone. He's working for a government contractor now with the dog whistle, meaning he's testing his technology with the government, and the government is now testing their technology with his technology. Because this has been something that he did, and he called them in so they could test out what they could do.
And I'd read that a laser weapon had popped one of these so-called drones, and I'm going to use the expression so-called drones.
Yeah.
And I do that as a laugh in the face of so-called X, Y, and Z we get on TV. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure these are drones. That some of them, the characteristics, flight behavior, and energy source would suggest that they're not off-the-shelf, off-the-shelf drones that we buy in our local hobby stores.
No, and they're appearing and disappearing in this.
And so there we have the question again: whose are they?
Yeah.
And we know from the Foo Fighter technology that these smaller, I would call them reconnaissance devices, were flying and monitoring the aviators in World War II. And the American Legion magazine, I found a copy. They did an article about the Foo Fighters in the middle, I think 1945, and I can leave a copy of that also. And what's interesting is that the attitude and concerns expressed by the pilots identical to our pilots today.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to mention about the Spielberg movie, and I've been sending out. I have a list of people who work in TV and media production, and I've been sending out a very short paper to them, saying this is an opportunity for somebody that's creative and skillful to come back and produce something. It could even be just a little 10-minute clip that is hopeful, that does not base it on fear. Kind of like a spin-off on The Day the Earth Stood Still. But what I get out of Spielberg is fear and unknown.
Yeah.
And I don't think we on planet Earth today need more fear. I think that if any of the listeners know Spielberg, I'd be happy to share some thoughts about, let's put a little trailer type postscript at the end of his that brings it back around to the reality of that we've got human space visitors who are peaceful and they're highly developed and they're trying to help us, as opposed to the fear we're seeing on that.
Just also on that point, even like what sticks in my mind as well as the prodigious use of war horn trumpets.
Yeah.
You know, almost like war horn trumpets implicating a sense of kind of dread or imminent kind of.
Yeah. Hey, I know as we've been talking, I've seen a couple of people ask questions, and listeners, if your question did not get addressed, please throw it back at us.
Yeah, definitely.
Can we go ahead and show the Mike Farrell?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, if this story is true, then we have to rethink the government's role in the history of UFOs. The government, in fact, may have had the answer in their hands over 40 years ago.
So
the United States Air Force has...
So we've got gremlins going on today.
You want me to stop it here?
No.
A major role in America's attitude toward unidentified flying objects. Here's another account of how the Air Force dealt with such phenomena. With me is author and filmmaker Robert Emmenegger, and former security manager and chief of requirements for the audio-visual program at Norton Air Force Base, Paul Ruez. Gentlemen,
and we can
Mr.
play this
Emmenegger.
on when we get back together again. But he's interviewing two professional people that were involved with filmmaking at Holloman Air Force Base, and what happened was one of the dome-shaped ships landed. A person got off of the ship. The base commander came out and met with the person, and of course, the films have disappeared. Let's scoot to the end where I actually give the credit for it, and if people that are interested in this can take a screenshot.
The day they were shooting, they were
where
doing
to
an
find the
accelerated
story. And there we go.
There we go.
It's at Holloman Air Force Base on the 25th of April 1964. There was a UFO landing, contact was made, and can you explain a bit more about this incident, Paul?
The explanation that was given to the people, the civilian that was involved with this, was that it was a training film.
Convenient.
Yeah.
Convenient.
And there have been other ones. I think Gordon Cooper gave testimony to a similar film. Another one that came out was one of the bases had contacted the MUFON group back in that day, and they wanted help in doing a disclosure, and they were going to present the film to the base. So this was a base authorized function, and this has been written up in this book and also Tim Good's books. And then at the last minute, the colonel in charge contacted the MUFON group and said, "Sorry, we can't do it."
Mm-hmm.
So somebody put their foot down. But I thought it was interesting that it's documented in the historical archives that it was attempted.
Right. So there is a precedent. There is a precedent for attempting to release to a wider audience actual footage. Yeah.
I mean, the Life magazine, Look magazine, they did their disclosures too, and Look, they were working with the security people in the Air Force, and were getting input on them on what they could say and couldn't say. But then after the articles came out, and these are major magazines at the time, after the articles came out, then people at the security level said, you it's all fake. There's nothing to it. So it's like the ping pong game, back and forth. And then even today, we still have people that come out and say, no, we don't have anything.
Just if I can just give a quick bullet point on Steven Spielberg, one of our viewers, Deanit, who's also a member of the channel. Thank you very much.
Be right back.
If we go by Spielberg's history of the films he's made to do with UFOs and aliens, his message is that they always come in peace. So maybe this film ends on a positive note. It's possible.
Well,
yep.
But I still make the offer to any producers at whatever level of proficiency you're at. This is an opportunity for you to make history and to connect the dots without the fear. And I think The Day the Earth Stood Still gets an A+ for that.
Yeah, I one of my favorite movies of all time, 1954, I think. 54, the original black and white, off the top of my head. And then because the story is so amazingly excellent, they did a reboot with Keanu Reeves. But ignoring the modern actors or dismissing them, it's the story itself which is the one of kind of like, we need to shepherd this planet in a better way than we are doing at the moment through fear and so on, as we've said earlier. Jay's just had to step away for a moment. I'm not sure. I think his service dog is floating around Princess there. So yeah, what I don't like asking this question too much of people, but with the data you have at the moment, Paul, what's your predictions for 2026, 2027? Of maybe a 1 year, 5 year, 10 year.
I think that's above my pay grade, but my guess is that it's going to be based upon what they're able to do working with their contacts here. And
so you think that the pressure is going to come from them on us?
I think it's got to be a collaboration. What has been written up by people that I consider reliable is that Kennedy actually met with them, and the deal is that they would make their technology available to us. They would give us free energy. They'd give us the cure for cancer, but we would have to give up our nukes. And we know what happened to Kennedy. That was not acceptable to the status quo. So, I mean, there's a lot of moving pieces that are, I'm not in that circle, so I don't know. But just from what I've seen and read and heard over the years, it's really going to depend upon what the Earth people want, and if enough people still want to live in fear and resolve their differences through bloodshed, they can't force us to do otherwise. Now, if we're gonna go set off nuclear bombs and destroy the planet, that would hurt the system. That's a different story.
So then, do you envisage like the day the Earth stood still kind of interjection and an intervention potentially occurring to save us from ourselves? You know, is that
as one who has worked in media production and has taught it and has that leaning, I think that would be a good idea. Now, would that violate some principle that they have about interfering? I don't know.
Losing the feed here a little bit.
Yeah, space gremlins.
Especially we're getting that today, a little bit of interjection. Yeah, back in the room. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, I think
gremlins are rampant.
I think you're it makes sense. You know, certainly if you put any credence in the documentation of instance of contact, if so-called abduction, so-called close encounters 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6 maybe, and looking at the historical records of things appearing in the sky from ancient history right the way through to our modern era now, maybe pre-flood and beyond, backwards and then forwards. I think Jay, could you talk a little bit about the Luis Elizondo edit on the observables? And do you remember you said you told me the other day that a bit had been clipped out that was quite eye-opening? Mike.
Sorry about that. Yeah, there was a clip on a podcast off of, now I'm not sure the actual podcast. I'll have to get it from him again. But there was a clip off a podcast where it was like 1 minute and 26 seconds in or something. They say something like, Lou, what would explain the 5 observables? And he says the manipulation of time.
Ooh, yeah.
And that part was cut out of the podcast. Oh, he didn't say that. In the live he did. He said it, but then when they went back and they posted it on YouTube, they cut that one little part out, that like 2 minutes of him talking about the 5 observables and what would explain it. And he said the manipulation of time.
And I've got some theories on. Do you know the Costa Rica spheroid balls that these giant granite blocks, spherical, and then there are certain caves with perfectly smooth interiors. I just wonder if we begin a detonation sequence, these UFOs, these UAP could intercept, bring back in time and leave, I don't know, it's possible.
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
One of the things that Renee Olson found, and he has in one of his books, it's strictly addressing technology, and he's not a scientist, so he's taking their information. And he's very honest in here about saying, at this point, they stopped me. They said, you have enough. So it's bits and pieces, but he did tell me that somebody that understands gravitational propulsion is going to be able to pull a lot out of here. But one of the things that they have is they showed him what they call instantaneous instant travel.
Wow. Yeah. Just going off it.
And this is his drawing, because he was able to see this and also have his visitors indicate, yeah, you've got this right. But you get energized, and then you dial in the frequency, the molecular frequency of where you're going. You know the molecular frequency of where you're at, and it's like the old push button radios.
Yeah.
You go from this station to that station, and you're there.
Do you suspect that that's under some kind of consciousness or conscious control, or do you think it's computerized maybe or automated? I mean, it's conjecture, I know, but then in this field we have a lot of conjecture because we work with fragments, as we said earlier. But certainly the discussion of psionics and interfacing with partially conscious machinery. So like your biomechanical craft, which interface with organic system, which is also conscious, and this kind of merging, so that the pilot can react to missile fire or move around. That video always plays my mind. That story of that gentleman when they were doing a missile test, super secret, and this object comes into a frame, jumps around, shoots 3 beams, but it's all traveling at Mach 8 or 9. It's like some hideously fast missile. So this thing just acts with impunity, and I'm in two minds. I think it could be a my own conjecture, and I'm obviously more interested in yours, Paul. Would be that there is a consciousness element to these vehicles in some way.
Adamski spoke about that because one of the things that he focused on, which threatened a lot of people, the people that he met with went into great detail about how they called it cosmic philosophy and consciousness, and got into some real detail, actual lessons that they gave to Adamski that they use on their planets that he said would work for those people here that wanted it. And consciousness was a major element of it. And when you're in touch at that level, and that's really when the miracles happen. And what are miracles but just science that we don't understand yet?
Yeah, it feels like in a modern, if you think about the history of the motor vehicle, the car, and the amount of technology in those now, or what's rolling out now, compared to a Model T Ford, classic era vehicles. I'm piloting the vehicle. I have conscious control of my direction and movement. And now I have a little onboard computer giving me instructions on where to go. It's really route mapping for me, like in a GPS system. So I'm wondering if the next stage of that evolution is putting in these potential little earbuds, driving the car just on thought alone, and then can you from the reaction through my nervous system to the steering wheel, there's a delay between visual, moving the wheel, and then back again, the feedback system. Whereas if I'm got these neural buds in my ears and I think to move the car, then it moves instantaneously. So
I think that makes sense. I mean, scientifically, what you've said, I think somebody could figure out if they haven't already.
So yeah, I'm always interested in, are these solid objects with nothing inside moving around? I don't believe that. I think the evidence that you presented and are aware of, and that we're aware of, suggests that occupants are there. Now, are those occupants just sitting down, drinking cups of coffee and smoking cigarettes? I think there's probably going to be a pilot, a commander of some kind, and there's going to be, and if there's a pilot and commander, that would suggest an interface, like a joystick and yoke for an aircraft. Is there a steering wheel? And then when we're looking at the technology where we are now and where it could be in 500 to 1,000 years, 10,000 years, I think the ability to kind of feel the vehicle and direct its movement. You know, if I travel from Earth to Alpha Centauri, our closest system, do I really want to bring up the star charts, or do I just point my direction to that star and just go? You know,
and you're going to have your onboard computers, except much more highly developed, that are able to, you know, take care of that.
We've got a question from the audience to you, Paul.
Beliefs on contactees, CE5, and the psi abilities purported by experiencers.
Well, people that have developed their technology to the point of what we're discussing here have developed both the technology and the philosophy behind that lifestyle that lets you perform at that level. So I would see that as hand in hand, really. I think that the more in touch with consciousness and the life forces that we become, the more we can integrate that into our technology. And if we're doing it in a way that is in line with progress as opposed to destruction, I think we're going to see more miracles. Again, science that we don't fully understand yet.
I mean, 100% with you on that one. I think just taking, you know, the so-called gravimetric or gravity wave manipulation, that is an entire branch of technologies that's, you know, there's obviously the power source. Jay, I can see what's being loaded up at the bottom.
Yeah, I just I'm going over little things, and then that's it.
Okay,
I'm getting rid of a lot of stuff actually.
Are we wrapping up?
In a couple minutes here, we'll be wrapping up, sir.
Okay, one thought I
What do you do? What happened?
I don't know. He had one thought. He disappeared from the stream. I haven't pressed anything.
I didn't either. I think he clicked a button.
He might have clicked a button, or he might have been disconnected.
Well, if he comes back on, George, we can we'll have him right
Sorry,
back.
viewers, about that. Slight technical glitch in the background as the feed was cut.
The gremlins are back. Yeah, I'm gonna text him right now and
he's on his way back in. Add to stage. Here we go. Add to stage. Add to stage, Jay.
Okay,
He's back. Oh, not like that. Hold on. Let's get us back up the way we're. There we go. It was the gremlins again. I told you.
I fell into the Dell dimension.
I've worked with Dell dimensions. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
No, we were just about to go over two things real quick before we ended. Was the Nick Pope and everything, but before we end, we'll let you have the stage there, sir, for the last couple minutes of the show.
Okay, one thing I would like to address, and people that have been following my posts and comments on LinkedIn, and if you're not using LinkedIn, I'd really encourage you to do that. That if you're not familiar with it, it's like a professional level Facebook, and there's some really good high level discussion taking place there. But I did some thoughts that I had about the non-human intelligence, when you think about it, everything has intelligence, and Adamski referred to that as consciousness. Other scientists and philosophers are also talking about that today, but it's that life force that animates the entire universe, and every it's the spark of every cell in our bodies. It's what makes the technology work, and if we want to call a spaceship or a robot non-human intelligence, I think we really need to also include in that discussion the highly developed humans that are designing and building using that consciousness power of the universe. And I think just calling it non-human intelligence misses that. And I think that's a major missing piece. That's the elephant in the room. And I think in some cases that's very intentional because it distracts and confuses. And then we're not talking about the life force, which therefore we don't have to respect the life force. And we're not talking about the humans that are building these things.
Yeah, 100%. That makes absolute lucid sense as well. It diverts away from the conversation on where we're going. Maybe we should Shanghai the NHI acronym and call it near human intelligence.
I don't know. That's a weird one.
I mean, let's call robots. Let's call spaceships.
Yeah.
And pilots and passengers are pilots and passengers.
It is what it is, right, Paul?
Thanks, Paul. It's been really I know we're going to end in the next couple of minutes. Jay's got a presentation to give on some sad news. I don't know if you want to go.
Yeah. The sad news would be. Very good friend of mine, Nick Pope, is going to be leaving us on this plane of existence shortly. And I wanted to share a message from him that came out. I'm not going to read it because I always all the time get emotional. I'm going to say that he.
You want me to read it, Jay?
You can read it, George.
Okay, this is from X, formerly known as Twitter. This is Nick Pope official. His handle is @NickPopeMOD, and it reads, "A message from Nick Pope. A while ago, following some digestive issues, I was diagnosed with esophageal cancer. Unfortunately, it's stage 4 and has metastasized to my liver. While I know that it's kindness and hope that leads people to suggest healers and supposed miracle cures and to say things like, fight it and you can beat it, I'm afraid my diagnosis and my situation leaves no doubt whatsoever. I can't beat it. What an amazing adventure I've had. A 21-year career at the UK Ministry of Defence, where I got involved in subjects ranging from financial policy to counter-terrorism, from military policing to UAP, and I saved 6 cows. It's a long story. The things I've done, the places I've been, the people I've met, and the secrets I've been privy to, I wouldn't have swapped it for the world. And then a second career, where my previous government UAP role brought me to the attention of the world's media, leading me to become a regular commentator on TV news shows and documentaries, as well as consulting and acting as spokesperson on various UFO and alien-themed movies, TV series, and video games. The media called me the real Fox Mulder. The true highlight, of course, is my life with my wonderful, beautiful, and incredibly smart wife, Elizabeth. She's a real-life Agent Scully, a scientist, a skeptic, and a redhead. We met randomly in the lobby bar of the Fairmont Hotel in downtown San Jose. She was an anthropology professor at San Jose State University in October 2010 and got married 3 months later. We applied successfully for my green card and she had me shipped over and imported to the US, where a new adventure began, as Elizabeth and I enjoyed wildlife watching at our wonderful home in Tuscan, desert hikes, film noir, true crime, country music, Sunday lunches with my in-laws, and much more besides. Recently, we had an amazing one-year adventure in New York City, living 5 minutes from the Times Square and having a wonderful view of the Empire State Building from our apartment window. We proofread each other's books and articles. I love commas, hyphens, and exclamation points way more than Elizabeth, and managed to win at least a few of those battles. And I'm supporting her in her ongoing fight for free speech, academic freedom, and keeping political correctness, superstition, and identity politics out of science and academia. The White House press secretary tweeted one of her recent newspaper articles, which shows the huge impact she's having. I kept working for as long as I could, right up until last week, with my various film and TV interviews, conference appearances, and live events, including my position as moderator of Ancient Aliens Live, where I think I did 94 shows. Sadly, the time has come where I've had to step away from this work. A lot of people have followed my work on UOP. I'm loath to use the word fans because I'm not a celebrity, but I am a public figure. And many people have followed me on my journey as I've sought to keep the UOP subject in the public eye and to frame it as defense, national security, and safety of flight issue, as well as a fascinating science problem. Some of this work has been public knowledge, but some such work of necessity has been done behind the scenes. I hope I've helped move the needle forward, but most people, of course, know me through my media interviews and live events. To everyone who's followed me on my journey, thank you, and good luck with your own journeys. I wish you every success and happiness. It's all been amazing. I'm grateful for the things I've done, not mournful for things that I won't now get to do. Per aspera ad astra. Nick Pope, Tucson, Arizona, February the 12th.
Yeah, that's a bit of bad news. Like I said, I knew him. Met him on Ancient Aliens, season 19, episode 5. I was on with the MUFON files, and excellent investigator, excellent human being, all around. But it's a sad day when you see someone like that go. But his contributions will never be forgotten on what he has given to us as a community.
Yeah, and from, I've never spoken to the gentleman or met him directly, but I know his influence on my life, being at the forefront of Rendlesham Forest Incident research and UK spokesperson for our topic generally, from an official capacity and unofficial capacity as well, I guess. He just, an old civil servant.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the legendary Nick Pope.
Always full of energy. Always full of energy.
Yeah, he's full of energy, but it's his time to focus on family and have some rest. He's done an amazing job. And the last bit of thing that I wanted to say would be, George and I have a predicament. Okay.
Predicament? Do we do?
Yeah, we have a predicament.
We do. Do we?
I like the new Galactic Family Podcast video that we have for the introduction, but I like it with the commentary.
Right.
George doesn't like it with the commentary because it says it seems you can't have a serious commentary on top of a funny video.
No, I didn't say you can't. I'm just saying. I'm saying.
Structure of it, though, how it's structured.
We're in discussions at the moment. Jay obviously has full creative license to do whatever he wishes. I'm merely suggesting that you can go down you can have fun with the topic, and that's what it's about as well, like engaging people. was it, if you're learning something or you're investigating something, if you can have a bit of fun, a bit of pizzazz with it, it makes it much more enjoyable. If it's too dry, too serious, and we're sat here in ties and we've got perfect hair done and the set is perfect, then are you actually having fun with it? I don't know, maybe you are, but I just think I'd like run VT. Go on.
All right, so the first one is the one with the normal video. Okay, we'll play the normal video.
Ask Paul what his thoughts are.
How did you like the video in the beginning?
Oh, it's certainly an eye grabber.
You've been polite there, Paul.
I mean, you guys have in the short time we've known each other, you know where I'm coming from. I'm gonna jump in and talk about those little creatures being bio robots, but hey, bio robots have personalities.
It's an eye grabber. You got an eye grabber. That's good.
They do. Yeah. All right, let's play the one. All right, this is without the commentary, and then we'll play the one with the commentary.
Okay.
Shit. A real fucking icebox.
There is no spoon.
What's wrong?
Seriously, you auto-updating now?
General, I won't be able to calculate the right data for the satellite for 49 minutes.
How long till impact?
11 minutes and 44 seconds.
Fuck Microsoft!
George, you want to put a poll up?
He specifically asked for you, sweetheart.
By our powers combined, we give you the Galactic Family Podcast.
Hello, my name is Nick Pope, formerly from the British UFO Desk, and you're listening to the Galactic Family Podcast.
Yo, fuck nuts! It's probing time.
Oh, come on. It's probing time. I like that one, okay? Now, and everybody says about the last bit of it where, actually, Dee brought it up and was like, Dee had no idea. Nick Pope, I got a hold of them and I said, hey, Nick, can you do me a favor? Can you, and this is last year before we started the podcast, I was like, can we go ahead and have you, will you be my voice in the beginning of my podcast? And he said, of course I will, Jason. Sent me an email with that audio file, raw audio file, and said, do what you will with it. I know you'll do great things. So I've been using it, he likes the show. He watches. So here's the other one. Now, this is with the commentary. George, you going to put up a poll?
A poll? Well, I could do, but is that legal?
No, I don't know if anybody wants to see you and me in the background. We're a little aged.
What do you mean, like in my living room, so dancing?
But play a pop star.
I see. So I have no idea how to do that. I've got no idea.
Planet Pop Star, you should have rights to do that in the
mods.
You should have rights to do that, Planet Pop Star. You're a managing mod, I believe.
It's Valentine's Day, she says. Yeah, well, as I said at the beginning of the show, Huva Ustavan Baiva, Happy Friendship Day.
And this now the first one was without the commentary. This is with the commentary. Okay? So we're talking UAP hearings and all this stuff in the background along with the video.
Okay. Run BT.
Informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program.
Chaos ensued over the radio as the object approached rapidly.
I heard my friend screaming, it's coming right at us, it's coming right for us, and now it's right here. Let this be the moment.
Seriously,
when America
auto-updating now?
chooses
General, I
courage
won't be able
over
to calculate
fear,
the right data for the satellite
transparency
for
over secrecy,
49 minutes.
and progress
How long till
over
it?
stagnation.
11 minutes and 44 seconds.
Fuck Microsoft!
Well, they call them interdimensional beings.
He, specifically asked for you, sweetheart.
By our powers combined, we give you the Galactic Family Podcast.
Let me be clear. UAP are real. Advanced technologies not made by our government or any other government are monitoring sensitive military installations around the globe. Furthermore,
Phone down, furthermore.
Hello, my name is Nick Pope, formerly from the British UFO Desk, and you're listening to the Galactic Family Podcast.
Yo, fuck nuts! It's probing time.
Okay, I personally like, I don't know. I want, listen, I'm adding in there that Luna piece. They call them interdimensional beings.
Okay, you've got some good samples. You've got some comedy sketches in there. I would lose the swearing, maybe. Just me, because that's just me. But
I was
don't
thinking
know.
about
Yeah.
that too. Just saying,
things
the beginning of that and putting its probing time.
things are changing. Things are, the joy I think Jay has in the show, and we've just had a year anniversary, or Jason's just had a year anniversary of doing the podcast. That was
Mr. Paul says the second one. Oh,
okay. See, so we've got some results coming back in.
people do like the first one. Or the second one, I mean, with the commentary. But I gotta like get in the groove of how we want to do it. So, Paul,
work in progress. We're developing all the time, figuring new stuff out, and moving forwards. Paul, Mr. Paul Ruez, thank you so much for coming on today. It's been a pleasure. Second time that I've spoken to you. I hope you can come on more regularly in your research and your viewpoints, well thought out, and I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
And thank you for hosting such a fine show.
No problem.
I'm gonna set the outro video as the same one.
Okay.
Shit! A real fucking icebox.
There is no spoon.
What's wrong?
Seriously, auto-updating now?
General, I won't be able to calculate the right data for the satellite for 49 minutes.
How long till impact?
11 minutes and 44 seconds.
Fuck Microsoft!
He, specifically asked for you, sweetheart.
By our powers combined, we give you the Galactic Family Podcast.
Hello, my name is Nick Pope, formerly from the British UFO Desk, and you're listening to the Galactic Family Podcast.
Yo, fuck nuts! It's probing time.